Every passing minute is another chance to turn it all around. So if I don't do this now, I don't know when I'll do it or if I'll do it. So I figured, you know what, now is the best time. I just got back from a friend's memorial. It was actually a celebration of life. A fantastic thing. And it made me realize we got to do what we are born to do. We got to talk about what makes us happy. And that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to talk about movies. Unfortunately, today, I'm not reviewing anything. Today is an introductory video. And the funniest thing is I've filmed this introduction before, but unfortunately I was so nervous about filming this thing, and unfortunately I'm sort of a perfectionist, that I did everything that I thought I was supposed to do for like a YouTube introduction. And then when I watched it, I realized I never even gave my name. So this is called ESQ Reviews. Why ESQ? I am not a lawyer. My initials happen to be ESQ, which is the initials for Esquire, which is a lawyer acronym. My name is Elijah Samuel Quesada, and I am a cinephile, self-professed cinephile. Unfortunately, I haven't been diagnosed, but I'm sure anybody who knows me would definitely diagnose me as a cinephile. I talk about movies all the time. I quote movies all the time. Movies are absolutely my one true love in this life, which is probably why I'm still single. Maybe not. Movies, I'm almost constantly watching something. Literally, I'm working my day job and I've got my headphones in and I'm listening to something, a movie on Netflix or Hulu or Amazon or something. I do want to say that I am... I'm not getting paid for this. I just do this because, I'm starting this because a friend of mine told me that I should do it. He told me that every time I talk about movies, I'm so passionate and so vibrant, and I know so much that I should have a YouTube video. Well, I saw a lot of videos of people reviewing movies and the cool things that they do in incorporating like scenes from films and stuff like that. I don't know how to do any of that tech stuff. I'm not tech savvy whatsoever. And I thought to myself, well, what's the gimmick? I know a lot about films, yes, but so do a lot of people. I have a lot of opinions about films, yes, but so do a lot of people. So what's my gimmick? And I thought to myself, I've got to have a gimmick that nobody else has. Otherwise, why are you watching my YouTube channel? Because you like me? Okay, fine. I can do that. But I thought to myself, my gimmick is I will never edit these. This is me, completely unfiltered, unedited. If you can't stand, the F word, I'm going to end up saying it at some point during my videos. If you don't like people who drink, I will drink sometimes during these videos. I'm me. I'm not going to stop being me. And this is completely unedited because I realized that if I went to edit something I'm such a perfectionist that I would never post anything if I went to edit it. I'm sure I would find a problem with every single thing, and like, I got to redo that, we got to do this, and we got to do that. And I would never post anything. So instead of doing that, I have decided to post unedited and unfiltered. So hopefully you enjoy yourself. Because I'm sure that I enjoy doing these films or these YouTubes. Like I said, I'm a cinephile. I have over 960 films at home, either on Blu-ray, DVD, and yes, I still have some VHS. I don't have a VCR, so I have no way to watch my VHS films, but one of these days I'll figure that out so I can actually watch some of my VHS films. Some things that they've never put on DVD, like, Common Ground. A great film made in, I think, the 90s, and you know what? I'm going to check. Made in the 90s, I think, and it's a fun vignette, Common Ground. Let's see. Oh, actually, 2000. Oh, wow. I thought it was the 90s. It's a good vignette of a bunch of little stories, and as far as I know, they still have not transferred that to any other media than VHS. And I have some other things, you know. I have a autographed copy of one of Gallagher's stand-up comedian things. He's my favorite comedian, and he signed a copy of a VHS that I still have. So I have some VHS. So anyway, since I'm unpaid, I'm not here to promote anything. There are certain things that I will talk about, like IMDb. I'm always on IMDb. I have an IMDb Pro account. I am a SAG member. My wallet's in the other room. I am a SAG member, so I'll sometimes talk about SAG. I'll talk about things that I've gotten on Amazon and things like that, but I am not here to promote anything. I will tell you, there are certain things that I use as just a regular, person, cinephile trying to find information. I'll Google things. That's fine. I'm not here to promote anything. If one day I do get paid for doing this, I'll have to reshoot this video. I'll have to reshoot this video or, something like that. So like I said before, a friend of mine told me that I should start a blog because I know a lot about film, and when I see a film, I get passionate about it, especially if I like it, and sometimes if I don't like it, and I like to talk about film. I like to talk about a lot of connections to film, and a lot of aspects about film. The music and how it works with it, and the timing and the pacing of certain scenes and things like that. And he just said, you should talk to people about that. Let people hear you. Let people hear about your opinion. So I know that for sure, not everybody's going to agree with what I say. I'm perfectly fine with that. I've shown friends of mine films that they really did not like. I remember showing a friend of mine. I laugh like uncontrollably sometimes during Burn After Reading. I think it's fantastic. I think it's witty, hilarious. I think everybody in it is amazing. And when Brad Pitt gets killed, boom, he was checked out. I'm done with this film. No longer have any interest in it. And I know there are films that I like that people just won't like. And that brings up a subject that I should talk about. I will talk about spoilers. I will talk about films. So a lot of times if I'm reviewing a movie, I have connections and I think about things from other films. And I will talk about, who is Kaiser Soze? Okay, I will say that. So if you're worried about spoilers to films, I'm going to, below this video, in the description, I will list a name of every single film I mention. If I spout a line from it, which I often do, if I talk about it, if I give a spoiler about it, any little thing, if I talk about any film or mention any film, I will make a description on the bottom. So if you want to avoid spoilers, look at the list of films and make sure that, okay, if I haven't seen that and I don't want to know a spoiler, avoid the video. Okay? But, whatever comes out of my mouth is what comes out of my mouth. Like I said, these are going to be completely unedited. So a friend of mine told me to do this, and I got a couple of things. One thing I was thinking about, okay, what is my gimmick? I'm not going to edit these. The other thing is, okay, I've got to have more than just that. What else is my gimmick? And I thought about a couple of things, and I went online and I started looking like, what can I do? What can get me propelled? What films do I talk about? Like, I have a list of films that I love and I watch over and over and over. I literally cannot count the amount of times that I have seen The Hateful Eight. Yes, it took me a long time to realize that Quentin Tarantino is my favorite director of all time. Absolutely wonderful. A very close second is Denis Villeneuve. But Tarantino, I've seen all of his films. I own all of his films. Fantastic. And I've seen The Hateful Eight at least 100 times, 150, maybe more. I think it's brilliant. And there are films that I watch over and over and over. There are some films that really impact me that, I watched once or twice and I really cannot, I got to take time. I want time between that. Why? Because sometimes the film is, like Fallen, there are things you don't want to know when you're going through it the first time, and something happens at the end of the film and you're like, holy shit. And it's so phenomenal and so amazing that I got to watch it again, knowing what I know, what happens at the end, watch it again. But I don't want to watch it over and over and over because I want to be surprised again at the end. And there are certain films that I treat that way. Like, I don't want to watch it so many times. I'm not saying it's not good. It's fantastic. And I'm not saying it's not my favorite. It might very well be one of my favorite. I don't want to watch it over and over again because I want to have that feeling again of discovering what happens. Now, Kaiser Soze at the end of Usual Suspects, it can be one of those things for some people, but for me, I can watch that movie over and over and over, and I still love seeing that, Kevin fucking Spacey is Kaiser Soze through the whole thing, and he's brilliant, and you don't expect it to be him because he does such a great job of being afraid of Kaiser Soze. Like when he's talking to Kuyan, he's afraid. And you see it in every action that he does and how he talks, and it's brilliant. And then you're like, wait, he is? Okay. And it's very well done, but it's not. There are certain films that I don't want to see over and over again. And there are certain films that I can literally watch hundreds of times and have no problem. And like I said, when I'm at work, I got something in my ear. Most of the time, it's something I've seen over and over and over. The Breakfast Club or, oh, what did I watch the other day? Oh, Kindergarten Cop, over and over and over. Schwarzenegger, a huge idol of mine. I love him. I've been watching him forever. I am an actor because of him. Commando was the very first Schwarzenegger film I saw, and it blew me away. And that's, they make things like that now. If you haven't seen Commando, think Taken. Same type of thing. A father whose daughter basically gets kidnapped. He goes through holy hell to get her back. It's the same one-man army type of film, action film. Are you going to find something that's amazing, that's like Oscar winning? Maybe not. It's still fantastic and fun and wonderful. Talking about one-man army, how many people have seen John Wick films? How many John Wick films are there? And he keeps going because, people love those films. And it's fine. It's great. Maybe it's not Oscar winning, and that's fine. I won't always talk about an Oscar film. So anyway, I was trying to figure out how can I get me to be excited and continue to watch films? How do I get something a little more than just the gimmick of being unedited? So I found a couple of things that I think is going to help me. And one of the things is on the wall over here. I'm going to pull it off. Hopefully you don't lose me on the audio. So this is a poster I found on Amazon, and can we leave it there? Oh, fantastic. I didn't know I could do that. That's great. Okay, so here's the, I lost me. Okay, 100 movies watch list. Okay, so IMDb, which I use a lot. Like I said, I'm not promoting anything, but I'm just telling you things that I love. IMDb has a website, Internet Movie Database, and if you go to the IMDb, there's this little yellow icon, IMDb, and right next to it, there's a menu. If you drop down the menu, there is, under movies, top 225 movies. Okay, top 225 movies. So what this is movies that people have gone on IMDb and rated, and according to their rating, they have a list of the top 250. And at some point, they took the top 100 films and made this poster that is actually a scratch-off. And your challenge is to watch all these 100 films. If you go onto IMDb right now, I am sure the list that is on this poster is not the same that is on IMDb right now. I know that for a fact because right on this poster, you see Everything Everywhere All at Once, and I know that is not, I don't even know if it's on the top 100, but I'm on IMDb right now. I don't think it's on the top 100 anymore. So here's the thing. You can have, and there's like 3 Charlie Chaplin films on here. So here's the thing. You can have 100 people go on IMDb and rate, Everything Everywhere 5 stars, and it will be on the top 100. And then you can have something like The Two Towers on here, and you can have 50,000 people go on there and rate it anywhere from 5 stars to 8 stars or 9 stars, and it show up on here. So it's not about how many people say this is a great film. So the algorithm constantly changes because at some point, enough people came and voted for Everything Everywhere, and it has dropped on the list from being like almost in the top, 25 to being, I don't know where it is now. I would have to look. Would it show me? I don't know. I'm constantly on IMDb checking things. I have a pro account, so I check all kinds of things. And yeah. So the rating right now is a 7.9. I don't think anything on this list is a 7.9. So it's not on the top 100 anymore. You can fact check me on that, and I might be wrong, but I doubt it. So anyway, what I'm saying is at some point they took 100 films that was the top at the time, made this poster, and I figured, you know what? I can go through this poster and talk about this. And when I went through this poster, I realized I own 49 of the 100 movies on this list. So it'll be easy for me to talk about them. But there are some films on this list that I'm like, how in the world am I going to get a hold of? At some point, I'll get a hold of it. What I can say, and what is fantastic to me, what seems amazing to me, is that number 1 on this list, number 1 is The Shawshank Redemption. And if you go on IMDb right now, I am on IMDb, The Shawshank Redemption is still number 1. I read critic reviews at one point that said that they believe that The Shawshank Redemption is the best, technically the best film ever made. Now, is it, AFI's number 1? I think I might get shot for this. I think that AFI is unfortunately living in the Stone Age. They still think that certain films are like the best films of all time, but I feel like they haven't given films nowadays an equal chance. They still think that films made in the 60s and 70s are like gold, and like films that we make today are, I'm not going to say, but I feel like they don't give a chance for films that are made nowadays because they think films nowadays are all computer and no art is made and it's all about money and blah, blah, blah. To a degree, maybe they'd be right. Maybe they are right. But if you don't put aside your personal feelings and look at the film in an objective way, then you're never going to get away from thinking that Citizen Kane is like the number 1 film in the world. I do not think that. I probably will never think that. And I think AFI unfortunately has it wrong. Like, you have to move with film, and film has been around since the 20s, and grow with film and know that there's more than, Sicario is beautifully, so many Denis Villeneuve's Sicario, so many critics have said that Denis Villeneuve knows what anticipation is all about and payoff. And it's a beautiful example of anticipation and payoff. And if you can't get out of like Gone with the Wind or Casablanca is like the best film ever made, then you'll never experience what filmmakers today can do. and want to say and want to express. So, do I agree with IMDb that this is the top 100 films? Maybe not. Do I agree Shawshank Redemption is the number one film ever made? Probably not. Do I agree it's fantastic? Absolutely. Brilliantly made. The Shawshank Redemption is amazing. I am a huge Stephen King fan. I'm gonna move to the side. I own every single Stephen King book on hardcover except two. Well, his fictional work, not his non-fictional work. Sorry, Stephen King. I'm not a big baseball fan, and he did some non-fiction that was about baseball. I do have his non-fiction Danse Macabre, and which is about the horror industry, which is great. And I have his On Writing, which is about writing, which I think is also great. I'm not a writer, but I really appreciated what he had to say. So I do have some of his non-fiction, but I have all of his fiction work except two. Secretary of Dreams, Volume 1 and 2. They were limited print, and they are hundreds of dollars each. I have not bought them yet, but I know eventually at some point I will buy them because I want to complete my my list. Stephen King is a huge favorite of mine. I literally have everything, including what they just put on hardback, which was... A Face in the Crowd. A Face in the Crowd he wrote a long time ago, but they just put it on hardback, and I have everything up until that. And I know that he's got another book coming out this year, 2023, I think in September, called Holly, and I've already pre-ordered that. So, huge Stephen King fan. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent. Shawshank Redemption. So, he wrote a novella. It was in a book of 4. And it was called Rita Hayworth and the Shawshank Redemption. Great story. Excuse me. Great story. I loved it. I love reading it. And I have seen the Shawshank Redemption before I read the book. So because I didn't start going through all of Stephen King's stuff until way later. So that was one of the films that I did see before. I think Frank Darabont did such an amazing job. I love that film. And so when I got to reading the book, or the novella, the tone is completely different. The tone of the book, in my opinion, he's got a lot of anger. Like, he's been, obviously, he went to prison for something he didn't do. And there's a lot of anger undertone to the story, in my opinion. He's very upset that he's there. He's very upset that, most of his life he's wasted in prison and he didn't do this thing. And, when the warden doesn't believe him or doesn't go along with him, when he finds the guy who knows who did it, there's an anger undertone, in my opinion, to that novella. And Darabont, threw that out. One of the beautiful lines is, hope is one of the best of things. And so I think Darabont really grasped that hope, that the ray of sunshine, that there is still hope, that yes, you've been in prison wrongfully accused, but there is still the possibility of having life beyond prison, of getting out. And there is that undercurrent of hope, yet there's despair in that. There are beautiful scenes, when Brooks get out of prison and you see that isolation, and it's so well done where nobody's looking at Brooks. Like, literally, if you analyze the film, when Brooks gets out of prison, when he gets paroled, no one looks at him. And you can go back and look at all the scenes of Brooks. No one looks him directly in the eye. Everybody's looking away. And Darabont did that on purpose because of the isolation. You might not have noticed it, and I challenge you to go back and look at it. You might not have realized that everybody is looking in a different direction than looking at him. They don't look at him. They don't make eye contact with him. Even the girl that Hope, takes him to his apartment room is kind of looking like this and not at him. And it's very well done because there's this isolation, and he's about to commit suicide, and you find that out, and there is those times of disheartenment and despair, but for the overall, it's all about hope. Like, there's still something left for me to do. There's still something left for my life. And so the tone of the book and the tone of the film are completely different. And I think Dearborn did a great job. He did a couple of other Stephen King things. He did Dearborn. You know what? I know he did The Myst. What did he? Oh, The Green Mile. Oh, fantastic! Yeah. He did The Green Mile too. I didn't read that until a couple of years ago. But The Green Mile is beautifully done. Michael Clark Duncan, I think he deserved the Academy Award. Like, just a fantastic job. So anyway, so I got this poster, and I'm going to work on this poster. But I also decided to get something. I wanted to figure something else out, and I found online this cool book. So Everyone's a Critic 52-week movie challenge. 52 weeks, that's a year. Okay, so what they're trying to do is get you to watch one movie a week, which is super easy for me. I mean, I watch 2 or 3 movies a day. Sometimes I can. Some weekends I'll go through the Harry Potters all week. Or the Lord of the Rings extended editions. I have all of those, and I can literally sit down and watch those in a day. I think they're brilliant. I know not everybody loves them. The same thing with the Hobbit films. I know a lot of people have their distaste for the Hobbit films. I think they're great. I enjoy them for what they are, and I can sit and watch them in a day. Anyway, I got this book, and it's a 52-week movie challenge, and I think it'll be fun to they want you to critique a film, and then give you guidelines to critique. Best line or memorable quote. Which character were you most able to identify with and connect with? In what way? So they got some cool, fun things that I can go through. I think the challenge of this book is going to be finding movies that match the book and also match the poster. And that's going to be my challenge. Because some of these things are a movie classic. Okay, you can probably find something on here that's a movie classic, but classic is subjective. I would assume, Psycho. I consider that a classic. Would everybody consider that a classic? I don't know. But I can say, yes, that's a classic. But in here is also a black and white movie. Okay, do I watch Psycho as a black and white movie in this 52-week movie challenge, or do I watch it as a classic? Do I have to find something else on the list that's also a classic that will satisfy this? So I think that the challenge is going to be finding something that works in both worlds, and there's going to be a lot of fun things here that I think will make this challenging, and I can talk to you about just about anything. My favorite films to critique or to talk about are going to be films that I've seen over and over and over. And films that I really like. Because if I don't like them, I'm not watching them over and over and over. Okay, so that's not entirely true. There is one film that constantly dupes me, that I've seen far more times than I should, because I know I don't. Here's the thing, I know I don't like it. I don't like this film. And after a year or two, I can never remember why I don't like this film. And I look up the film and I go, wow, it's got such a fantastic cast and it's such a great concept. Why don't I like this film? And it dupes me. It really does. It's the only film that I can think of in history that dupes me every single time, because I will go, why didn't I like this? Why? I can't remember why I didn't like this. Such a great cast, great concept. And I'll watch it again and I'll go, wow, I didn't like that. I did not like that. Why in the world? Okay, now you're like, okay, what's the film that he's talking about? Okay, it's called The Pledge. And here you go. Jack Nicholson, an icon in film, is directed by Sean Penn. It's got Jack Nicholson. It's got Patricia Clarkson, which I love. Benicio del Toro, who's amazing. Aaron Eckhart, which is great. Tom Noonan. I mean, by all accounts, and Helen Mirren, by all accounts, this should be like a fantastic film. But for whatever reason, and I can't tell you to this day, I literally cannot tell you. I would have to watch it again why I don't like this. But every single time I watch it, I remember why I don't like it. But after a year or two, I forget. A retiring police detective pledges to catch the killer of a young child. Okay, and Jack Nicholson plays the detective. How can you not like this? I don't know why I don't like this. I would literally have to rewatch it to figure out why I didn't like it. And I have to be honest. I am not a professional critic. I'm not a critic. I'm not a professional critic. I love talking about film, but I'm not a professional critic. I don't like saying bad things about film. I am passionate about film. I love film. I would love to talk all day about film with someone. I know people put their heart and their soul and their money and their time into a film, and I would hate to put my heart and soul and money and time into a film and have somebody hate it. I don't want that to happen. I want them to enjoy it. I want you to see my film and like it. And so the last thing I want to do as someone who's going to talk about film is talk about a film I don't like. That's the last thing I want to do. I want to talk about film I like. And I think, these actors that I just mentioned and Sean Penn, I think these are all amazing artists that do fantastic work. And for whatever reason, The Pledge isn't my thing. And there's going to be a lot of films, I'm sure, that I will rave about. Like I mentioned before, Burn After Reading, or Under Suspicion with Gene Hackman and Morgan Freeman and Monica Bellucci. I love it, and I know people hate it, and that's perfectly fine. There are films that I'm going to talk about, that I'm going to be passionate about, that I love, that I know people aren't going to like, and that's fine. We all have our opinions. I get it. And I would rather not talk about something I don't like. If you want me to review something, let me know. I'll watch it. I love reviewing something I've seen, but I can still talk about something that I've only seen once. Tell me to watch something I haven't seen. I'll watch it. I'll talk about it. I may not have as much to say about it, or maybe I will. Who knows? The hard thing is when someone recommends a movie. I'll give you an example. Like my mom recommended a movie on Netflix called I Care a Lot. Rosamund Pike. I love Rosamund Pike. I think Peter Dinklage is a wonderful, fantastic, amazing actor. And I'm like, okay, I'll watch this. The premise looks good. Diane Wiest is like, a staple in film, in the film industry. So I'll watch this. I'll see. And I really didn't like it. It wasn't that the film was bad. I think the film was made perfectly well. It was a well done. I laughed through the whole thing. The problem I had with it is the main character, in my opinion, is despicable. I don't want her to win. Oh my God. And partway through, I'm like, she's going to win. There's no scenario that's going to come out. You're focusing on this character. She's got to win. She can't not win. And I just don't want her to win. She's horrible. She's despicable. She's the scum of the earth. In my opinion, the scum of the earth. And sometimes you love to hate a character. But I didn't love to hate her. I didn't want her to win. I thought she was despicable. And there wasn't enough for me to focus on, aside from her, for me to really enjoy the film. Now, okay, she dies at the end, but that doesn't mean she didn't win. She absolutely wins. And then she gets shot at the end. Okay, whatever. That happens. So my mom was like, what did you think of the film? It's really hard to be like, Mom, I hated the film that you recommended me. So I focused on the one thing that I appreciated or liked or got enjoyment. I said, Mom, I'm glad she got shot at the end. That was very satisfying. And my mom was like, yeah. So she had the same reaction. She's like, yeah, I'm glad she got shot. Yeah, I'm glad she got shot at the end. But she did, she won. And, it's not like 24. 24, my favorite TV show of all time. And Penny Johnson-Jerald plays this character that's absolutely horrible. Like, I have visceral reactions to watching her and the things she does. I want to scream. And when she finally gets shot and killed in like season like 3 or 4, I am like beside my, thank God. And I have literally seen the season like 6 or 7 times all the way through. I fucking love Kiefer Sutherland in that role. If there were any role that I wanted to play, that's the kind of character I would want to play. Jack Bauer is amazing. But anyway, Penny Johnson-Jerald plays this character that I love to hate, and I love the payoff when she gets killed. And there's enough for me to focus on in that show that's not her. I think she does an amazing job. This has no reflection on her acting ability. In fact, it speaks to her amazing ability to be a fantastic actress, who cares? Amazing talent to be so despicable that I hate her so much that I forget that she's just an actress and I hate her. And oh my God, I'm so glad that, when she gets shot. My mom has this reaction too. When somebody can do their job so well that you fall in love with them. I can't think of one right now. Like if somebody is just amazing and so charming and so, bad example, good example, bad example. So, oh my goodness, not Red Lights. Red Eye with Cillian Murphy and Rachel McAdams. Oh my God, did I get that wrong? It's Rachel McAdams. Yeah. So Cillian Murphy and Rachel McAdams. It's a bad example because he turns into a bad guy, but Cillian Murphy is so charming, like insanely sweet and charming, and like he oozes like this charisma, and you just fall in love. Like you fall in love with his character. You love him, and then when he turns, it's so Alfred Hitchcock. Because, halfway through, Psycho, you think this movie is about this woman who stole this money. And like halfway through, Red Eye, you think this could easily be a romantic comedy between, Cillian Murphy and Rachel McAdams. He is so amazing and so charming. And then all of a sudden he like turns a 180 and you're like, who is this person that I just thought was charming, that I just thought was amazing? And people do such a great job sometimes that you forget they're just an actor. And I saw an interview one time where Kiefer Sutherland said, only in America do people think that you're the actor, you're the person you play. He says, I literally will have people not shake my hands because of the character I played in A Time to Kill. And only in America that happens. And it's when people can do that good of a job that you believe they are the person they are. And the reason why I went off this tangent is because my mom cannot watch that movie, Farrah Fawcett film, Extremities. Farrah Fawcett, 1986. I think it was adapted from a play, if I'm not mistaken. And the James Rousseau, who plays the intruder, the rapist, does such an amazing job. She literally cannot watch anything he's ever done after that. She says, I can't see him. I can't see him in anything else. To me, that's who he is. I can't see him as anything else. He did such a great job that I can't watch him in anything else. And I know that's not good for making money, for getting people to watch my films. But as an actor, as an actor like I am, if somebody were to say you were so compelling that it's so hard to watch you in that film because I believe that you are the character, that's what I want to hear. I want you to believe, because I, as an actor, need to believe who I am in this film or on stage or whatever I do so well that I want you to believe I'm that. And when that comes across, that's amazing acting. That's amazing acting. So, that's one of the things I'll talk about is, great actors and things like that. I'll pick up on that in films and notice when people really take a step beyond who they are or who I've seen them be and play a character that's completely different than what I saw. I saw Bones and All, and I don't know how many of you have seen Bones and All, and I would highly recommend it, not as like an Oscar award winning film, because it lacks, I would say, like an arc. This is a character study. A friend of mine told me this is a character study, and what you're really looking at is the characters and who they are and how they move through this world that they are still coming to terms with. They are still understanding. And to see, we're, as the audience, still trying to figure out what is going on, and we never get a full grasp of what is going on because the characters also don't know what this world is about. They're still trying to figure this out. Timothée Chalamet is fantastic. I know he produced it, and him trying to figure out, the two main characters are still trying to figure out like what's going on and what's in this world. How do we live in this world? How do we come to terms with who we are? And hold on, let me look it up real quick. Bones and All. Yeah. Oh man. It's so great because I didn't want to get it wrong. So Taylor Russell, Timothée Chalamet are still trying to figure out like what is this about? More Taylor than Timothy's character, still trying to figure out like what is this world that I've realized I'm a part of, and it's more about who they are and how they go through the world than it is about I'm going to tell a story from A to B. Like, and there's a point to my story. This is a character study. And what I loved about Bones and All, what shocks me about Bones and All, is Mark Rylance. I think he is so brilliant. Like, I can't believe people aren't talking about this. He is not the kind of character he's ever been in any other film. And he took to heart who he's supposed to be. And you have to think about, if you're this person, if you're eating people, if you are literally eating people, and you do it at such a young age that your parents freak out and abandon you at a young age, because they talk about that in the field of being abandoned at a very young age. And, Taylor Russell's character is fortunate enough to have a father who stuck with it long enough for her to get past that, like 5 or 6 or 8-year-old age. But Rylance's character must have been abandoned at such a young age that his mental processes, his social interaction, his the way he talks to people, the way he attaches to people, how he reacts, has to have been affected by the fact that he was probably abandoned preteen, absolutely preteen. And Mark Rylance does such a great job of adopting this, like, I have to a degree, even though I'm in my 50s or 60s, the character is, to a degree, my mental state cannot have gone past teen. So how do I incorporate both of those things? How do I incorporate being a teenager in my social skills and being, 50 years old and surviving in the world, and the eating people is inconsequential to my character. Yes, I eat people. Yes, I get it. My parents abandoned me because I do this thing. But what's more important is my mental state of being is not an adult, but my body and my function is an adult. Beautiful. It's fantastic. I'm not here to... Maybe one of these days I'll talk more about Bones and all, but there's a lot that I love about film, and I can sit here and talk for hours about it, and those are the type of things I think about. It's not just the acting, it's the directing, it's the pacing, it's the writing. So many interviews you see with actors that say, if it wasn't for the writing, we wouldn't have been able to make that film. So yes, it's also about the writing. Do you have something great? Do you have a story that people are going to stick with? Do you have characters that people are going to either identify with, hate? Because you can absolutely hate, like I said, you can absolutely hate characters and still stick with it. Do I have characters that people will identify with or hate or love or, get wrapped up in their world? Do I have a story that people are going to stick with, that people want to know the end? What's going to happen? What's going to happen? Do I have a story that I can tell in such a way that at the end, people want to watch it again? I don't know how many films that at the end I went, I need to watch that again, knowing what I know now. It's so well written. Memento is so well done that at the end, I've got to watch it again. Like, wait a second. And Memento benefits from that type of film where you can literally watch it forward or backwards, and you get something different. I think there was a play done that way, that you can literally rearrange the scenes and it tells a different story. A friend of mine told me this. You can take scene 1 and scene 5, like the end, the beginning and the end, rearrange the middle, and it tells a completely different story. Well, Memento is one of those films that if you have one of the versions, you can literally watch it the way the director wanted you to watch it, Nolan, the way he wanted you to watch it with. I think that's the best way to watch it. Or you can watch it in chronological order. And either way, it's brilliant. It tells a fantastic story. But if you watch it the way he wants you to watch it, when you get to the end, you literally want to watch it again. You're like, whoa, I got to watch that again, knowing what I know at the end. So it's not always a Kaiser Sose situation where you're like, okay, I want to watch it again because now I know who Kaiser Sose is. It's not a Fallen situation where I want to watch it again. It's not those films where something so profound happens at the end that you want to watch it again. It's just the way the story is told that at the end you're like, there's so much I know now that I want to rewatch it. When I rewatched Bones and All, I fell in love with the actor's dedication to who their character was. It wasn't about the story, it was about the actors, in my opinion. It was about the character study and the actors. The actors really knew who they were playing, and to watch it a second time and appreciate every single actor in that film. Michael Stuhlbarg is so great, and to watch Stuhlbarg in Bones and All, and then watch him in, he was in another Chalamet movie, Call Me By Your Name. If you watch Call Me By Your Name, where he plays Timothée Chalamet's dad, loving and sweet, and trying to guide his teenage son through the murky waters of first love, to Bones and All, where he's like this. He is the, you know, you are not a true eater until you've eaten somebody bones and all. And he is that dedicated, and that, like, those two characters are like, I couldn't think of two things, you know, polar opposite, and he's amazing. And again, it's like watching Rylance, like his ability to play completely opposite people is amazing. I'm going off on a tangent on Bones and All. I should review Bones and All in depth one of these days, because it is a very well made film. But anyway, so I'm just here to tell you, you know, I want to do this video about talking about film, and as you can see, I can get lost in talking about film real easy. I'm going to try to stick with, for at least for now, I'm going to try to stick with this list. I know there's going to be some things on this list I won't be able to find, or it'll be difficult to find. Some of the Japanese films, old Japanese films. I'm sure I'm not pronouncing this right, but Hara-Kiri. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find that, and it'll be a challenge. Some of the anime stuff, some of the, like I said, there's 2 or 3 films on here with Charlie Chaplin. How am I going to find those? I'm going to do my best. I'm also going to do my best to try to keep them also in this book, so that I can do this 52-week challenge, which, if all I had to do was do the 52-week challenge, I could probably do this in a couple of months. That's how often I watch film. I'm going to try to post 1 a week. And like I said, they're going to be all completely unedited. If you like them, great. Tell your friends about them. I will be talking about all kinds of film. I don't know what's going to be my first. I have a funny feeling that, well, maybe I shouldn't say. I have a funny feeling Reservoir Dogs is going to be my first, because it satisfies something in here and it satisfies something on here. So, look for that. I'm going to wait to post this video because it's just an introductory video. I'm going to wait to post this video until I actually have a film critique video to post as well. So hopefully you'll like it. And like I said at the bottom here, check all the films that I list. If you don't want any spoilers, check that out. If you want me to review something that you think is great, or that you can't understand why people like, hey, let me know. Maybe I own it. Maybe I love it. And I can talk about it. Or and get you to understand why people love it. Or maybe I agree with you that I don't know why people like this film. It doesn't make any sense to me. Bardo, I couldn't get through it. I watched half of that, and I really pushed myself to watch half of it and went, nope, not for me. And I know people love it, and that's great. I'm glad people love it, because people should love it, and I couldn't even understand what it was about, and I checked out. So if there's something you want me to review, let me know. Maybe I'll get to it. Hopefully I'll get to it, because I do like watching film. So stick with it. I hope you like these videos, and we'll do what we can. Thanks a lot for watching. And yeah, I'll see you soon.